Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces that you need. As usual, I'm changing my colour scheme. I used Pink Pirouette here. This one I'm going to use Tempting Turquoise. So to start off with, the card pieces that you're going to need. The card base is very vanilla, and that measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8. In centimetres, that's 21 centimetres by 14.5, scored and folded at 10.5. A layer of basic black, which measures 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. And then a piece of Timeless Elegance Designer Series paper, and this measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. Then you'll need a piece of Tempting Turquoise, which measures 1 7/8 inches by 4 3/4 inches, which is 4.75 by 12 centimetres. A piece of basic black, which measures 1 3/4 inches by 4 5/8, which is 4.5 by 11.75 centimetres. A piece of very vanilla, which measures 1 5/8 inches by 4 1/2 inches, which is 4.25 by 11.5 centimetres. And then a piece of Tempting Turquoise, which is 3/4 inch by 2 1/2 inches, which is 1.75 by 6.25 centimetres. A piece of basic black, which is 5/8 inch by 2 3/8, which is 1.5 by 6 centimetres. And finally, a piece of very vanilla, which is 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 inches, which is 1.25 by 5.75 centimetres. I'm going to do the stamping first, and I will start with the cats. And what I found easiest with this is to adhere my cardstock down. And what I do is I just put a little bit of snail on the back here, and then I put my finger over it a few times to make it less sticky. So when I lift it up off of my grid paper, it's not going to tear. Stamp set I'm using is your little Furball. I don't know what I was thinking about when I bought this stamp set, because I ordered it in wood, and I always buy clear mount, but I'm really pleased that I did get it in wood. It was a really good mistake to make. And the reason is because with wooden stamp sets you can make your own acetate templates to go with your Stamp-A-Majigs, and it's always ready to use. And I have found this really useful for this particular set, and I will show you what I mean when I come to the baby, because you couldn't do this with your plastic sheets you get with your Stamp-A-Majig. You could do it if you used a piece of acetate as well, but I'll show you when I get there. Right, okay, so that's it all in place. I'll do the dad's head first. To me, this is dad, mum and the baby. Okay, so put dad's head there. Get my Stamp-A-Majig in place. Just move that up a little bit. So the way I didn't do that very well, did I? Just have to be careful not to knock it. So where I'm placing dad's head is I'm just leaving a little gap from his ears, from the top of my cardstock, and I'm leaving, that looks like 1/2 centimetre. I'm not quite sure what that would, oh no, that's inch, isn't it? About 1/4 inch, yeah. So whatever 1/4 inch is in centimetres, and it must be 0.675 centimetre. Depends how precise you want to be. I took too much sticky off of that snail because this underneath is moving, but hopefully it won't matter. Okay, I'm using our black archival ink, and I recently re-inked my pad, so I'm getting some really lovely impressions. That's it. Now his body is this one, so I need this. Pop his body in place, and then the Stamp-A-Majig. There we go. Next I do the mum. If you ever do an uneven number like this, it is always best to do the two outside ones first and then the centre, or the centre one and then the outside. It's a lot easier to get your positioning correct. Now with mum, I'm giving more of a gap here on this side because her tail comes up quite a way, but I'm still leaving approximately the same distance from the top of my cardstock. Oops. Nearly sent her flying. Right, so this is the mum's head, and this is the one that I use for the baby as well. And then the mum's body, which is this one here. I made a bit of a mess of this. I touched it when the ink was still wet. Not a good idea, but it still works. I can still see enough through there that so I can get the body correct. No, that's Dad's body. This is the one I need. Right, now this is what I was saying about this being a lot easier when you've got several pieces, because what I can do is I can put the baby's body there, and then I can put the head on and see how that fits in, which if you've only got your sheet that comes with the Stamp-A-Majig, that's not quite so easy. Right, I'm moving him up a bit so his feet are sort of in a line, and I do like to turn him a bit so he's got his bottom in the air, looking rather mischievous. So I'm going to do the body first. I know I moved that, but I'm sure that'll be fine. Right, the baby's body. Smudged that a bit. I'm not going to worry too much about that, I don't think. Right, now the baby's head. I'm going to tilt that as well, so that looks at a nice jaunty angle. Or cheeky angle, I should say, I think, not jaunty. Jaunties is what you refer to hats, I think. There we go. And then the other bit of stamping I need is for the sentiment. So this I really do need to be nice and firm. Because this is such a narrow piece of cardstock to get this done on. Right, the sentiment that I'm using is I Think You're Perfect. And I've got a template for that as well. So pop that into position. Hopefully that's straight. Stampin' a jig. Make sure I've got it up the right way. Oops. Not very straight at all, but true Blue Peter style. Rather than watch me struggle with that, here's one that I made earlier. I did have another piece here, didn't I? Oh, there it is. Never mind, I'm going to use this one. You certainly don't want to spend time watching me doing something that is should be so simple. Right, here we go, put those away. So now I'm going to put my card together. And I'm using Tombow. Use whatever you're most comfortable with. The reason I put the pink with this one was some time ago, I think it was before Christmas, I was watching US videos by US demonstrators, and the paper pumpkin that they get over there, they had this colour scheme, and the things that the girls were making were absolutely stunning. They were really beautiful. We really wish that we could have paper pumpkin over here in the UK. I'm sure it would be so popular. Paper pumpkin is like a card kit, but you get everything in there that you need apart from scissors and glue, including a little ink pad and also stamps. Right, concentrate. Now this one and these. So put this one on first. I'll have to try doing this with the dogs. There's a set of dogs, I can't think what we call it. I mean, I'm definitely a cat person, but I know there are lots of dog people out there. And it's a similar sort of thing with the bodies and the heads. There we go, that's that. And then this one goes on to black first. And then on to the Tempting Turquoise. These, once you've adhered all three layers together, you could put them on with dimensionals if you wanted to give some extra height. Whoops. There we go. Now I'm just going to pop this onto my card, make sure I've got it opening up the correct way. Oops, silly. Let's hope this covers all of that. Oh yes, that's fine. I think the turquoise goes nicely as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any tempting turquoise baker's twine, so I've decided to go for the all white. There we go. Now I'm going to do the bunny ears bow. I find that that is the easiest one to do, especially when I'm trying to get something so small. As it goes over, allow it to twist itself round. That way you'll find it's a lot easier to get straight, so that the two tails come down on your bow rather than having one up, one down. There we go. I've already done these two earlier. Right, scissors. And I put these bows on with just a little dab of Tombow. If you want to use glue dots, which you can, it will work, just make sure you roll them up so that they're as narrow as the bow. You don't want them still sticking out, larger than the bow, I mean. As you can see, Tombow works brilliantly. So there we go. There is one other card that I made. This was a bit of an experiment. It's the same as the pink but with the white. The experiment being that this is also from this pack of Designer Series paper, but it's only in the Sahara Sand and Very Vanilla. There's no black in it, and I wasn't quite sure whether that would work or not. I think I prefer the ones with a bit of black in, but it still works, it's still fine. So many thanks for joining me today and watching my video. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm always happy to help. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here, please click on the link that's in the box below, and that'll take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Also, I will be putting on the screen all the measurements and the product names and the product catalogue numbers, but I do know that you don't always see that depending on what device you're watching the video on. So I've also put all of those details in the box below as well, so you can pick up all the information nice and easily. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.